Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. Now, this is my third video for the day, which is a little outrageous for me, but I wish to welcome you and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. Regardless of what religion you are always a spiritual being, and especially in my realm of things. So, with that said, faith and hope. Now there are a lot of things being attacked in the news and in the world and on the globe and in the galaxy. And one of the things is everything that we have put our faith in. I, for example, am an ex-Catholic, whatever you want to call it, and I learned many years ago that there are many things about religion that are false, and I learned that back in 1970 and 71. I've talked about that, and this video isn't about that, but it is about that I lost my faith in the Catholic Church. And in my lifetime of learning about shamanism and spiritualism and so forth, I realized that faith was much more than any particular religion or any faith based religion, like faith in what? Okay, so that's where I want to start with this. Now, there are many people who've read the Bible, and I've had these discussions. If you're going to quote the Bible, then go back and read. Don't quote from a printed version, especially one that's been printed recently, because if you check the words in that Bible, they may very well not be what's actually what King James or what the old versions of the Bible actually said. So if you're going to quote the Bible to me, then go back and read some of the older text, and let's use that text, not what's current, because things that are current aren't necessarily anywhere near what the old folks talked about in 200, 300, 400 years ago. So the faith that I have and all of those amazing grace blessing, if you're still there, the faith that we have in our God has changed because they've changed the parameters of who our God actually is. Is it the creator? Is it this God that sits in heaven? Is he in charge of the pearly gates? What's the deal here? But the more we learn about certain things, about religious texts and things, and we find out that, oh my God, they've been withholding information, or they kind of changed a few words here and there, or whatever, it attacks our faith in what we have believed in. Okay, faith in religion. All right, let's go with another one, for example. There is a lot of information out there about the NASA, the National Aeronautic Space Administration, or never a straight answer, as many of us call them. But that, that the moon landings didn't really happen, that they were staged, and there was this and there was that. There's a lot of information coming out that there's no way they could have made it through the Van Allen belt because of all the radiation and the solar radiation coming from the sun. It would have fried our astronauts. Now, that said right there, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of information that backs that up, easy for you to say. But in that you say, well, but my faith in the NASA, in the Space Administration, well, now I don't have faith in them anymore. Now I don't know whether or not the pictures they show me are renderings, or if it's an artist conception, or if it's actually a rendered picture from something they took with one of their satellites. Don't even know if they actually put the satellites up there. That's how much faith we have lost in the system. We say, like for me, when I came time to get my Social Security, they said instead of $1,400 a month, you're only going to get $9. And I was like, but what about the other $500? You don't qualify. Well, why? Because they changed the law. So my faith in the system that I spent, from the age of 13, I've been putting in, and I'm almost 67. So I've been putting into the Social Security system for a long time. And for them to tell you, sorry, but we changed the rules, and you're not going to get $1,400 a month. Like we said 2 years ago, you were going to get. We changed the rules. So my faith in the government and the faith in Social Security, my faith in all this, right out the window. My faith in the people who represented me, out the window, because some of the folks I voted for voted against me and my Social Security. They're out of the picture. No faith in these people anymore. So Hey, Bob, something's going on out there. Oh, I got a program trying to start over here. That's what's going on here. Sorry about that. A little bit um, interruption. But anyway, so our faith is not just faith in our religion or in our spiritualism. Our faith is in all of things across the board. Our government, are the people who represent us, the teachers who've been teaching lies to us, the NASA, the Space Administration folks, all the government, the this, everybody's been lying to us. At some point, at some place along the line, they have been hiding the truth or just bold-faced telling us lies. So how can we have faith in that? We don't. So many of us have lost our faith in stuff, not just in a religion, but in other things too, in common human decency. You think, this, yeah. Then you find these idiots out there that are doing these mind-numbing things, and you got to stop and say to yourself, wait a minute, do these people represent me? Is that how I feel about this? I'm a spiritual person, very spiritual person. Watch some of my other videos. That the idea of spiritual, I talked about it earlier today twice about spiritualism. My faith in the Creator, my faith in the universe outweighs anything that a man can tell me or woman on this planet can tell me. Because so many lies have been thrown my way, especially as far as what I should understand spiritually and what I should understand in the words of God and the this and that and the religions and that. Well, you don't belong to religion, therefore you must be an atheist. No, I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Christ. I believe in the Christ consciousness, but I don't believe in all this heresy of all these religions. Sorry, don't want to go there. But at the same point, you're not going to take away my faith in what I know as to be true. Common human decency, compassion for other human beings. That's the faith I have. I have faith in other human beings. Not all, but so my faith has changed drastically. And a lot of other people have lost their faith in anything. They're just absolutely, don't want anything to do with it. So in this time of all this flux and of all this chaos that's been going on for quite a while now, I have to bring up to the fact that, listen, they're trying to break our faith in anything. Hello, Melanie. Good to see you. Cherry, good to see you back. And again, amazing grace to you as well. So they keep wanting to shake our faith in everything. My faith is that, I understand certain things in the universe, and I'm just going to go with it. I understand in here my faith in my Creator, in my faith in what the universe is about. Yes, it's through study. Yes, it's through meditation. Yes, it's through natural processes and so forth. But the thing is that, and I was hanging out with Milky Way Weekly earlier on, just a few minutes ago, and the idea that faith is within each of us. Our religion is internal. And if somebody tries to give you a hill of beans, if you're listening to your own self, you'll understand this is a hill of beans. This does not resonate with me in some way. Supernatural. Good to see you. You got it right as usual. Now they have to fake 100% creativity by all voice of, I can't, got to put my glasses on there. Supernatural. Voice of Joe Rogan that they released yesterday. It sounds exactly like Joe Rogan. Add that to the deep fake technology, you got 100% fake person recreated on screen with ease. Exactly. No problem there either, right? And so they're creating these fake things right in front of us, and they're like, this is real. But no, it's not. For example, the fake news. And, we used to trust the news. Well, many years ago, when I saw all the buyouts happening, I knew this was coming, and that when Murdoch and all this, I remember back in those days, and I said to myself then, and quite a few people, long before the internet was hot to trot, in that we were just having conversations going, this is going to go nowhere fast. one person buying up all these, newspapers and radio stations and TV stations. And, back in the day, and I've talked about it, I used to be a DJ in the old days down here in the South. And I worked for AM, FM stations. I worked for Easy Listening. I've done, Saturday mornings and gospel music on the local stations, And so, but the thing is then all these stations got bought out and they got put on the bird, as radio folks called it. They're going to get the station down from the bird. So everything went automated. So they've got a building full of DJs, and these DJs got a toll-free number. So you think you're talking to a local guy when he's in Texas somewhere, and we're in Georgia. So anyway, this idea that, that we're listening to you, we're your local station. And that's so bullshit, it's like, no, you guys are in Texas or Fort Worth or someplace, which is in Texas, but to the idea that it's not a local DJ. And the idea that this guy knows what's going on locally in our area is bananas. And people around here are like, oh, I listened to the DJ last night and he talked about South Georgia. He don't live here. If you look it up and check it out, this guy don't even live in South Georgia. He lives in another state. But you're going to, oh, yeah, but he knows all about it. No, he don't. But so these people, even in radio, and all these folks got bought out. All the small stations got put out of business or put on the bird. So it's like you can't even trust the local radio stations anymore because they're not local. So where's my faith in the local radio stations? When the hurricane came through here last year, I tried to tune in a local station. When I did, they were all on the bird. I was listening to some guy in Fort Worth talking about blah, blah, blah. And, there's bad weather in South Georgia. The radio station was on, but there was no local people saying, well, we got lights out on the Dover Highway. Lower Meigs Road is shut off because there are 12, trees down across the highway. Nothing like that. So do we have faith in our local TV, local paper anymore? No. Do they print the truth anymore? No. So our faith in everything across the board, which brings up the next word in my subject line, hope. One of the things that folks are talking about and have been for about a year or so now about all these folks, people talk about, well, you're just full of hopium. And they're making hope sound like a bad word. Now, if I don't have hope that I can get up tomorrow, that I have hope that I'm going to wake up and go out in my garden, that I'm going to have hope that I got enough water in my well to water my plants. If I don't have hope for tomorrow, just tomorrow, I ain't talking about Monday or Tuesday. I'm talking about in the morning. If I don't have hope that I'll wake up and feel good enough to go out and work in my garden for a couple of hours, well, then I've lost hope. And I have to have the faith that even if I can only spend 20 minutes in my garden tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I have faith that I can. Ooh, wait a minute. So now I have faith in myself. I have faith in my own self-spirituality. Regardless of what everybody else is putting out there, whatever anybody else is trying to push, I have the basic things necessary for spirituality, meaning that I understand the galactic rule to do no harm to anything. I had 2 weeks ago, I had a possum kill 4 of my chickens. I couldn't kill that possum as much as I should have, could have, and wanted to. I couldn't. I beat him in the head and put him in a container and drove him 2 miles up the road. I have every right to take revenge on that possum. I couldn't do it because, and even a friend of mine, he said, "You mean you didn't kill that possum?" And I was like, "No, but I took him way the hell up the road. He ain't coming back here." But that's not the one. He goes, "Well, you should have killed him. He's a chicken killer and an egg thief." And I was like, "Yeah, I dumped him in the woods for somebody else to deal with." But to the point, though, in my role as a human being and as a shaman, I couldn't take the life of that crazy ass possum, even though he'd killed 5 of my chickens and countless eggs. We can't even go there. But I had to have faith in that it's still not he's a possum, or she was looking for food, did what a possum does. It was my fault the possum got in there. Okay. So I got to take some of this blame. But at the same point, is an eye for an eye right? Do I have the right to kill this possum? He was just being a possum. And the answer was no. I had to take it away and turn it loose. Like I said, I beat it in the head a couple of times, tried to get it out of the chicken pen and into the cage. But to the point, I even felt bad about that. Even after killing my chickens, I felt bad about beating that possum in the head. But I had to slow him down so I could catch him. But even still, I feel guilty over a possum I hit in the head, okay? But that's how in tune I try to be with the universe. If I'd killed that thing, that puts a stain on my on myself, because I know better. That's the rule. I know better. Do no harm to any other being, to any other thing, to anything. To do no harm. So for me the fact that I beat that possum in the head was like I kind of broke that rule, but I didn't kill it. At least I took it off and gave it a chance and said, not here. Otherwise, I might kill you. But to the point, though, there are a lot of people who would have killed that possum without a second thought because they had the right to kill it. It was in their chicken pen. My right to kill it. If I'd have had a gun, I might have. But since I'm not allowed to have a shotgun for self-protection because I smoked weed and got busted for pot, therefore a felony in Georgia, I can't own a shotgun to protect my livestock or anything. So, but anyway, now, but had I had a gun, I probably would have killed it, is my point. But I would have been protecting my chickens. But because I would have had to beat it to death or shoot it, kill it, stab it, or otherwise, I chose, I'm not that kind of person. Now, let's go back to hope. This idea that hopium is stupid by the people who say it. And there are some folks out there that I used to hold in high esteem and high regard for their philosophical ways about the world, about the universe, about spiritualism. And when some of these same people started spouting up, well, the world is just afflicted with this hopium, I went, what? That's hopium. Everybody's hoping for a better tomorrow. Well, yeah. What, you want me to go to sleep at night and say my prayers and say, Lord Jesus, I pray that tomorrow will be worse than today? No, I'm going to pray and hope that tomorrow's a better day. So these people are like, well, these people are just all, they're all worried about hope. Well, if you don't have hope, then what do you have? Nothing. If you don't have hope, then you've got despair. I've spoke about this before, but it needs to be said again. So people who are like, well, I don't know, all this hopium stuff is just blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. These same people who were trying to convert me to their way of thinking has now turned around and said, but, Hawkeye, if you've got hope for tomorrow, and you've got hope for a future, and if you have hope for a better tomorrow, then you must be full of that hopium shit. And I dropped them folks like a lead brick. What changed their mind was part of my thing. And I tried to ask some of these people, and they got really rude with me, like, well, you're just one of the people that are all stuck on hope. If we don't have hope, come on, folks, stop this mess. So even the preachers, even the folks who are preaching these higher spiritual realms are now condescending those of us who have hope for a better tomorrow. What? I've lost my faith in these people who I regarded as higher spiritual beings. And then I realized they're not any higher than the rest of them. They just yak a good bit. And when confronted with the truth, all they could do was be pissed off at me. Well, I'd ask them a question. Well, Hawkeye, what right do you have to ask that? I was just asking a question. You answered everybody else's. I just posed one. I didn't. Well, you must be. And so I have irritated people, even by the kindest possible way to ask a question. It's pissed them off because I was questioning their veracity of who they were. Why they could preach that hope was worthless and that having too much hope is hopium and is addictive and is like cocaine or opium. And I have to say, stop it. these people need to please stop it. If they don't have hope for tomorrow, then just stop. Say it. I don't have hope for tomorrow. And all you people who believe in hope, you're all a bunch of assholes. If that's what they believe, then why don't they just come out and say it? But instead they try to preach spirituality. But if you're full of this hopium stuff, then you're not part of our club. What? I mean, seriously, what? Now, I don't mention any names, but there are some folks out there that turned about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And there are other people who are going into this thing. Well, you're just full of hopium. We got to have hope, friends. And we have to have faith. Now, I got to say this. Have faith in yourself. If nobody else, have faith in yourself. I've spoke about this before, not to regurgitate stuff, but stick with your own spirit guide. Stick with your own guardian angel. Contact your spirit guide, your higher self. Stick that and ask them for guidance. Ask them, does this feel right? And there was an old proverb, an old Confucius saying, that if you eat a problem before bed, now I know this is a problem, any problem, but you eat it before bed. And if you wake up with indigestion, then the solution to your problem was a bad one. Or if it's a business deal, should you do it? Should you not do it? Take it and eat it and wait till in the morning. And if you have indigestion, then whatever the business deal, whatever it is you ate before you went to bed, it gives you indigestion, then it ain't right. And that's just following your own spiritualness, your own resonance. Does it feel right? I don't know. But the thing is that it's true. If you take in what your problem is and you say, well, I want a solution to this or that, whatever, and I have faith that I can find it. And if you have a solution and you swallow it and you wake up in the morning and it's like, whoa, I feel pretty good about this. Then whatever that solution you had the night before that you wanted to ponder, that maybe that was it. If you're looking for an answer out of a situation, sometimes it'll come in the form of a dream. And if you ask your higher self, you got to then pay attention to the next day or a couple of days. They might absolutely show you the answer and the way out of your situation. If you have faith in yourself, faith in your own guardian angel, the fact that you have one, just have faith in yourself. Forget about anybody else's belief. Have faith enough in yourself that you'll find the correct solution, especially if you follow just certain little basic rules. You'll get the right answer, or you'll get a way out of your situation. Now, there are a lot of times people are given the answer, but they don't like it. So therefore, they reject it. Well, that answer isn't what I expected. So, but it might be your way out. Yeah, but that's not what I expected. So they dismiss it right away. The answer to their solution, because they don't have faith in their own decisions, because they expect more. Well, I asked for a new Ford, but somebody gave you a 2-year-old Chevy. Well, but I wanted a new Ford. But here's a car. Isn't that what you really wanted? Well, I wanted a new Ford. But what about this 2-year-old Chevy? Won't that do? No, I wanted a new Ford. And there are people like that. It's not what I expected. And I know that's a little outrageous in life. But to the point, though, in life, people are given answers. And it's not a Ford, and it's not brand new, but it could be a Chevy and a couple of years old, but it will get you through whatever it is you need to get through. Maybe the question should be, I need a better car, not a new one. Maybe I need a newer vehicle. But to the point is, well, I'd like to have a Ford, but a Chevy will do if it runs and it's got 4 tires. So in life, we look at things and sometimes they're right in front of us. And I've seen people, I've got friends and relatives and, that have had the solutions right there and go, but I don't think that's right for me. Because they thought too much about it. They didn't listen inside. It was the answer out of their problem, but they refused to take it. It was given to them. Here it is, presented, and guess what? Because they didn't get exactly what they wrote down on their list, they lost and they lost a little bit of faith. But because they didn't get exactly what they wanted, their hope is gone. Well, there's no hope for me now because I didn't get exactly what I wanted. Well, wait a minute, but God gave you a solution out of this, didn't he? Well, but I didn't like that one. And well, now I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. So in that indecision or in choosing the wrong decision, they have lost faith because the God they prayed to, because they expected more in their own realm, they've lost now some more faith and they've lost hope again. So it's a never-ending cycle, and people never get out of it. Well, I'm not going to pray anymore. I'm not going to meditate. Screw it, because I've lost my faith, and therefore I have no hope that if I pray, that it's going to do any good, or that I won't get an answer. If I try to speak to my higher self, if I ask my guardian angel, well, but here's the answer. Yeah, but I don't like that answer. Well, but 2 and 2 really is 4. Yeah, but I need 5. I really need 5. Yeah, but 2 and 2 is really only 4. Yeah, but somehow I'm gonna add a 0.5 to each one of the 2s, and we'll make it. It'll end up the answer will be 5. I know it. These are crazy points to put at, but there are people who try to change. Here's an answer, but that's not the one I want. Okie dokie. Then when you lose your faith, what little you have, and then you lose hope because of that, okie dokie. If they had really, truly listened to themselves without their brain, but with their heart, here's a possible way out. I don't see anything else. Maybe having a Chevy is okay, although I'd rather have a Ford. But maybe this is my ticket out and I can trade it for a Ford. They don't look that far ahead. I know, using a car analogy, it's the simplest thing to use. But and I've seen people literally turn down good deals on cars because it wasn't a Ford. But just saying. So in my realm, the car analogy is very, very real. But if we ask for something with our faith, many folks will ask with expectations. In other words, I'm going to ask if this is right, but I want it to be right. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, but you're putting conditions on it. Well, yeah, I want it to be right. Well, okie dokie. So if you go to sleep and wake up the next morning and you got a little bit of indigestion, people will talk themselves out of it. Go, well, I got indigestion. It was because of the pizza. It was the pepperoni last night. And they'll try to bring up another excuse, and they'll end up not listening to their own self. And then later on, they go, well, I don't know what went wrong. I've lost all faith and hope now. And I got to say, without faith in yourself, there is no hope. Without hope, there is no faith. Without hope, there is no tomorrow. I hope for a better tomorrow, whether it comes or not the point. And I'm not going to quibble about it. Well, it might rain tomorrow. Well, actually, it's going to be in the 90s tomorrow, and it's going to fry my garden. I got to go water, but that's okay. But to the idea, though, that, listen, I got to have some kind of hope, and you should too. A lot of gunfire going off. I mean, it's like 11:49 and gunfire in my neighborhood. Weird. Anyway, with the hope. So for folks who want to say that hopium is BS and that, having faith, have faith in yourself, but also have the common decency to look at yourself and go, wait a minute, is this what I need or is it what I want? That's a whole nother story. Because people who have faith in themselves, well, that they'll also come up with this preconditioned process that I'll have faith as long as certain criteria are met. Well, if I see this and a miracle happens, then I'll have faith again. It doesn't work that way. But we got to start somewhere. The biggest place to start is to don't give up your faith in yourself. Don't give up hope. Keep hope in your heart at all times. If I know I'm repeating myself, but without hope, what do we have? We've got nothing but arguing, dissent, despair, depression, bunch of D words. But with that said, um, um, wish it could be better too. Eye of God syndrome. Um, take it one day at a time. I wonder what it's like to just be happy. Cherry, I know we've talked about this before, and I choose to be happy regardless of what's going on. When I learned this when I was in jail, and I know that, but being imprisoned in loneliness or self-absorption, there are a lot of different kinds of prisons, but I was physically in jail. And I learned that I could wake up every day and just be pissed off at the system, or I could wake up every day and try to make the best of it. And I ended up making the best of it. And for being in jail, I made out like a bandit, literally. And I got to the highest position in the jail as far as a trustee is concerned. I was making sandwiches for the warden. I never had to kiss anybody's ass. I never had to do any kind of sexual perversion or anything like that. I was just a human being and treated my captors with respect. And I woke up every day, regardless of whether I was in jail or not, with hope and faith that I was going to get out. All I had to do was keep the faith, keep my good attitude, and understand that, okay, one more day done is another day closer to home. Now, with that said, spiritually, we're in prison on this planet. For every day that we spend in our hearts with hope and love and for the future, when we look at, well, there's one more day I've got past. Now, I'm not to say that I'm going to die anytime soon, but I don't know. But the thing is that for every day that I'm here, I'm going to be prepared in case the good Lord takes me tomorrow or the next day. I want my spirit to be prepared regardless of what happens here. I'm going to have faith in myself and in my Creator, regardless of what any of the books say. I know in my heart that I don't want to do any harm. I want peace and compassion, and I want love and kindness. So with that said, how is there anything wrong in that means self-destroying anybody, wars, fighting, killing, doing a hoodoo on somebody? I mean, it doesn't even come into my realm of thinking. So, but to have it every single day, that happiness is within. Am I happy with myself? No, I could really go empty that wheelbarrow I filled full of dirt earlier, but I'm sore from paddling yesterday, and filling the wheelbarrow was half of the job. Now I got to go out and dump it later. But to the point, though, that I'm still happy about it. I'm still happy that I filled up one wheelbarrow today. That might have been the only work that I got, but I'm still happy that I did it. And I'd be happy if I didn't say, yeah, but I worked my butt off yesterday on the river. I paddled for 10 miles. I'm 67 years old. I should be half dead by now. I'm not. So I'm happy about that. So happiness is within yourself. It's all the other things. When I realized, well, I don't have money for a cell phone. Oh God, I can't have a cell phone. Therefore I must be unhappy. I don't need a cell phone. Screw it. I realized, but for every step I made in that, well, I'm not happy. Why? Well, I don't have the money for a cell phone. Yeah, but do you need a cell phone? No. But do you? No. Well, then I went down my list and was like, well, wait a minute. I don't need that to make me happy. I don't need outside stimuli to make me happy. Now, going to the river and paddling is an outside stimulation of sorts. Didn't cost me anything but the ride to the river and back. Of course, I had to buy the kayak, but it's paid for. But to the point that, did I have to pay for the activity? Did I have to go somewhere? Did I have to hire? No, I just went down to the river and put my boat in and left. I was joyous. I was happy, and I'm happy because I went, could I have worked in the garden? There's a lot of excuses for me not to be happy. But I made a choice a couple of years ago. Miss Sherry, you're having these inspirational moments right now. Be happy with yourself, and every day is happy, regardless if it's raining or snowing or whatever. If you choose to not be happy in here, you can't be happy anywhere. Nothing will make you happy. Being around people won't make you happy. Being by yourself, nothing will make you happy if you're not happy in here. And so the first thing I did was look at the thing. Why am I unhappy with that? Well, blah, 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 blah. Chopped it up. Sometimes it took me 2 or 3 years to figure out why I was so unhappy. And when I realized it was attached to some material kind of thing, I realized, but I don't really need anything material. I'm working on the spiritual side of me now. I got this, but wait a minute now. So wait, did that, when I got it out of my life, did it make me happier, more or less? Or I found out that not having I'm using a cell phone as an example, but I couldn't afford a monthly payment, even for limited. And then it didn't work because I'm out in the country and everybody, but Dave, you need a cell phone. What if something happens to you? You wouldn't answer anyway. And who gives a crap? But my point is that my happiness revolved at one time around whether or not I had enough money for a cell phone. When I got rid of that, I realized I don't need no damn cell phone. I got a house phone. I got my computer. And if I break down the some side of the road, somebody else has got a cell phone. So for me to have spent all this time about, I don't have the money and I can't, I wasn't happy during that time. It was all because of a stupid cell phone. It was all because I thought I couldn't stay connected. Oh, what if something happened? Oh, what? And I filled my head with so much bananas. I refused to be happy because I had all these other things in my brain. It was, and it all revolved around a cell phone. Well, but I had to go through my life and pick, well, what about this? Well, what about that? What about this? And I realized that when I got rid of some of these material things that I thought was making me unhappy, I realized that when I just said, forget about it and just concentrate on my spirit and myself, I realized that I used to get mad. I used to be pissed. I used to be blah, blah. I used to, now it doesn't matter. I still have contact with people. I still, all these. So my my sadness was self-imposed. My inability to find things good about a day was self-imposed. Now the sun came up. Thank you, Jesus. I can see the full moon up there. Thank you, Creator. There's the full moon. Yay. It's a little low in the sky from the other day. We were in the earth wobble, but the things that I can take care of on my own is I can work in my garden. I can feed my chickens. I can take care of myself, which I need to clean my house, but I can take myself to the river and exercise and be close to nature and be spiritually aware, blah, 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 blah. Have contact with God, the source, all that kind of good stuff. And the happiness is boundless in me right now. And it has nothing to do with material things. Nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, more gunfire. Damn. Almost 12 o'clock anyway. But to just put this out there, Miss Sherry, if you're still listening, I have not a clue what your personal thing is, but to anybody else out there, if you're unhappy and if you don't, I don't know why I'm not, but look at what's making you unhappy. What is what's that factor that makes you unhappy? Not quite supernatural. Tomorrow is actually the full moon, but we won't quibble. It's close enough. Yeah, it's pretty. I can see it out the window. There's clouds trying to cover it up right now. But anyway, but the idea though that if something's making you unhappy, then find out why within your own self. I can't answer that. I know other people are like, well, you'll only be happy if you have a cell phone, Dave. And a cell phone didn't make me happy worth a shit. It made me more unhappy because I didn't get service. I was spending money that wasn't doing me any okay. I mean, it was just, and once I still got it. It's sitting over there on the shelf, but I still have the cell phone. I still don't have service. If I ever get the inkling, I can go re-up it and do whatever kind of thing, but that's not the point. The point is I realized I had put a lot of value in something that really didn't mean anything personally to me. It was what everybody else thought it should mean to me. It's what society meant it should mean to me. It's what I believed it meant to me until I had to go through through Hawkeye and go, wait a minute, what's really important here? Is that cell phone important? No. Is it making you unhappy? Yeah. Then turn the damn thing off. I did. And there for a couple of months, I was like a little, well, I don't know. And then after a while, I was like, I put the last 4 years back then, I put the last 4 years of my life struggling to keep a cell phone because everybody wanted me to have one. Even though nobody would call me or talk to me on it, they wanted me to have it for my safety. Did that cell phone make me any more safe? Nah. Did it make me any more happy? Nah. All it did was waste my time and my money. So now I got $30 a month because I'm not trying to keep that damn cell phone on. You know what I mean? So you got to look at, I had to take in my shaman's journey. And if you're going to be a shaman in any way spiritually, you got to find out, why am I unhappy? Why is today like not happy? Well, did you get up? Well, yeah. Did you have breakfast? Well, yeah. I really wanted pancakes, but I settled for eggs. So did you eat? Yeah. Okay. That's a good. What about, did the sun come up or, you got to look at the small things to be happy about. And then you'll realize that the large things you think are going to make you happy aren't really necessarily important anymore. It's what your spirit guide, and your connection to the universe that absolutely matters in the end. When we all leave this plane of existence, we're going into the next realm. Is a cell phone or anything else that makes us happy on this planet worth it? No. What matters is ourself, our spirit, and our connection to our higher self and to the Creator. That's what's ultimately the problem. And with faith in self and hope for tomorrow, we got to have it. Or otherwise, might as well just do this and get it over with. And I refuse to do that. Tried that, been there, done that. Ain't worth it. So I choose to get healthier as I get older. I choose to get more spiritual. I choose to get better. It might only be a grain of sand a day. That's not the point. Am I making progress? I might have a couple of down days. Doesn't matter. I wake up and say, well, I've had a couple of down days. Now, where did I leave off? What's next? Period. And I used to get, because there are times when my brain conks out for days. And I mean, I don't even know if I've eaten. I mean, seriously. But it's not that I want anybody to pity me or feel sorry. That's not it. It's my issue. I'm dealing with it. But I used to be in a wheelchair with full-blown grand mal seizures and drooling out the corners of my mouth and not even able to speak as long as I have today. So am I getting better? In a lot of ways, yes. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Damn straight. And if you give up hope, you won't make it. If you give up your faith in yourself that you can get better, do better, or make a difference, then all of your hope is lost. And I refuse to believe that. But society will try to tell us differently and try to make us believe that we're not happy unless A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever the syndrome is. So I will continue to pray for each and every one of you, Cherry, Supernatural, any and everybody else here. There are hard decisions in our life. I know I've had to make them. And I look back on them and go, man, that was really shitty and it was really tough. But I had to do it. And now I look back and go, as bad as that decision seemed at the time, I realize now, even though I prayed and prayed and prayed, and the answer was not what I wanted, it was the right answer in the long run. Now, I won't go into what it was, but there have been several things. But the idea is that I pissed and moaned and kicked the dirt 15 years ago and said, there's no way it's going to be like this. 15 years later, it's like this. And I realize now the decisions I had to make then affected who I am and what I am and where I am now. And that If I'd have made other decisions back yonder 15 years ago, I don't know where I'd be right now. I don't know what the situation would be because I would have gone against what Creator told me was necessary for me to do. Man, it was difficult. But in the long run, they knew more than I did. I followed it. I did my best. I've learned from it. And here I am 15 years later. And I look back and go, as much as I hated it then, it was the right thing to do. So understand that even though in our own little minds we'll conjure up, but that's not what I want. It may not be what we want, but it may be what's necessary. And that's an even harder choice to make. You know something is necessary. You got gangrene on a toe. You can't fix it. The only way you're going to keep from losing your whole foot or your leg is to take the toe off. If you go, no, I'm going to let it heal for a little bit, and then it gets into your foot, now they got to take your foot off. No, I'm going to take some antibiotics and the gangrene's going to get better. Now they got to take your bottom leg off. So no, if you keep thinking that gangrene's going to get better without help, and wouldn't you rather lose a toe than a whole foot or a leg? Absolutely. Raise your hand. But sometimes you say, well, God Almighty, you want me to lose a toe? Yeah, but it's going to save your leg. But I'm going to lose a toe. But you're going to save your leg. But I'm going to lose a toe. All we think is the short-sighted part of it. And I know this is a bad example, but to the point, use it in your own life. Is there are things that we say, but I don't want to lose my toe, whatever that your toe may be. But in reality, that's probably the only way to keep something else from being worse, bad, or whatever. So don't give up, please. Happiness is within. I'm happy every day, regardless of the crap that goes on, because I choose to. I choose to have hope in tomorrow, regardless of what happens. If I make a list of things to do and I can only do but 2 of them, I still have hope that the next day I'll get those other 2 done. It doesn't matter. It's what's in my heart. It's what I feel. And it's my connection to the Spirit. Keep your connection. Keep it solid. Have faith in it. Pray to you. I say pray to yourself. Pray to yourself in that you will listen to your higher self and that you will get good guidance. And when I listen to self never steers me wrong. I mean, a lot of times I'm like, well, I really think I ought to do that. But when I think about it, they're like, go ahead. And I do it. And then it'd go, now, we told you that this other way and ended up doing it their way anyway. Take the shortcut. Listen to your higher self. Listen to your God spark, however you want to put it. I love you all, I do. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will understand these things in a larger spectrum, because I know here just in the last 6 months, there was something that I wasn't happy about. And for 2 days, I was like, really bitchy. Thank God nobody was around me. But I had to stop after, like on the 3rd day. I was like, man, Hawkeye, what are you bitching about? What's got you so pissed off? Well, do a little bit of self-analysis, and I realized when I was like, something triggered me, something ticked me off, and I didn't put it to bed. I just kind of let it mull in the back of my head. And so I had to sit down, look in the mirror, and kind of go, okay, listen, well, yakky, blah, 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 blah. That ain't that stupid. You spent the last 3 days being pissed off about something. Drop it. I did. Happy almost immediately. And it's like, so it's up to us. It's up to us. So I love you all. I do. With that said, after almost 50 minutes, keep up the faith. Keep up with the hopium. That's how we get to tomorrow. That's how we make it to the next realm. That's how we bring all these other people who are asleep along with us. I love you all. I do. And if you think not, well, then that's your fault, because I do. I want to send out all this love to all of you because I think it's important. and I feel it's important for your lives. I'm already happy in my life. And so, yes, I wish to share this, but I wish to share this just so simple. Just accept it. That's all. It seems so simple in the long run. So, with that, I'll close with the prayer. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and relations will continue to accept and receive the healings, the blessings, and the knowledge from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, all of your relations, and anyone you might meet on the street, that you will continue to accept, receive, and pass along the, the healings and the knowledge and the wisdom from the universe. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will wake up tomorrow and accept and receive the goodness, the good faith, the blessings from the universe, and that you will understand that happiness is what it is. Every single day, happiness can come and go as we wish it to. If you wish happiness tomorrow, happiness will come. It may be in a little tiny little thing, but it will be there. Accept the small things, they grow into larger things. I got tomato plants that are only this tall, but then when they get big, they get really big and put tomatoes on them. So I bless these little tomato plants because they grow into bigger things. I have faith and I have love for my tomato plants, and I'm going to help them to grow. If you have hope and faith in your it too, much like a tomato plant, will grow and produce fruit. Blessings, and I love you. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Supernatural, good to see you again. Cherry, it's always good to see you. And to anyone and everyone else who may have tuned into this live stream, thank you very much. Stay on track. Don't give up. Please don't give up. Please keep the faith and keep hope in your hearts. Amen, amen, I say to you. Talk to you later. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers, commonly known as David Null. Saying from Southwest Georgia, TTFN. Ta-ta for now, and I'll see you on the flip side.